My name is Jessica Harper. I'm 24, and I've spent the last 3 years clawing my way up in the cutthroat world of event planning in Boston. The city's a beast, beautiful, historic, but ready to chew you up if you don't keep your edge. I was good at my job, damn good. My last gig at Pinnacle Events had me managing corporate galas, charity fundraisers, and even a swanky wedding for a tech mogul's daughter at the Fairmont Copley Plaza. I had a knack for making things flawless. Every napkin folded just right, every vendor on time, every client feeling like royalty. That was until Trey Sullivan decided to screw me over. It's May 1st, 2023, and I'm sitting in a cramped coffee shop on Newberry Street, the kind with overpriced lattes and baristas who act like they're doing you a favor by taking your order. The air smells like roasted beans and regret. I'm staring at my phone, rereading the email that changed everything. Jessica, we regret to inform you that your position at Pinnacle Events has been terminated due to performance concerns. Performance concerns. Me. The woman who once coordinated a 500-person gala in 48 hours when a venue canceled last minute. It was bullshit, and I knew exactly who was behind it. Trey, that smug, khaki-wearing, fake charm-dripping Trey Sullivan. He'd been my coworker for a year, always hovering, always smiling a little too wide when clients were around. I didn't think much of him at first, just another guy trying to make it in the industry. But then I started noticing things. Files missing from my desk. Clients I'd been working with suddenly requesting Trey instead. Whispers in the office about how he was so reliable and such a team play a 10R. I should have seen it coming. Trey wasn't just ambitious, he was a snake. And when Pinnacle landed a massive contract with a biotech firm for their annual conference, a $200,000 deal I'd spent months pitching for Trey saw his chance. He went to our boss, Karen, and fed her a story about me botching client meetings, missing deadlines, even misplacing funds. None of it was true, but Karen wasn't the type to dig deep. She wanted results, not drama. So I was out, and Trey was in, promoted to my spot as senior event coordinator. I take a sip of my overpriced latte, the foam sticking to my lip as I try to process the rage bubbling in my chest. Losing my job wasn't just about the paycheck. It was my reputation, my network, my life. Boston's event scene is small, word travels fast. One whiff of performance concerns, and I'm radioactive. I'd already applied to a dozen firms, and all I got were polite rejections or silence. Trey didn't just take my job, he torched my career. But I'm not done, not by a long shot. I've got a plan, and it starts with the one thing Trey cares about most, that biotech contract. It's his golden ticket, his chance to prove he's the star he thinks he is. The conference is set for June 15th at the Seaport Hotel, a sleek waterfront venue with views of Boston Harbor. It's a big deal. Executives from all over the country, investors, even a keynote from some. Nobel Prize wannabe. If Trey pulls it off, he's untouchable. If it crashes and burns, he's done. And I'm going to make sure it's the latter. I pull out my laptop, the coffee shop's Wi-Fi spotty but functional. My first step is research. Trey's not sloppy, but he's cocky, and cocky people make mistakes. I know the biotech firm, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, from my time at Pinnacle. They're based in the Seaport District, a shiny cluster of glass buildings that scream money. I'd built a rapport with their VP of Operations, Linda Chen, during the pitch process. She liked me, trusted me. If I can get to her, I can plant seeds of doubt about Trey's competence. But I need dirt first, something concrete. I start digging through LinkedIn, Glassdoor, even some shadier corners of the internet where disgruntled employees spill tea. Pinnacle's internal systems were a mess when I was there. Shared logins, unencrypted files, emails floating around like confetti. If Trey's been careless, there's a chance I can find something. Maybe an email where he trashes a client. Maybe proof he fudged numbers to make himself look better. I'm not above a little hacking. Nothing illegal, just creative access. I still have a few old passwords from when I was at Pinnacle. It's a long shot, but it's a start. The coffee shop's getting crowded now, tourists snapping photos of their pastries for Instagram. I glance out the window at the brownstones lining Newberry Street, the spring sunlight glinting off the Charles River in the distance. Boston's gorgeous in May, all blooming trees and crisp air, but I'm not here to sightsee. I'm here to take back what's mine. Trey thinks he's won, but he doesn't know who he's dealing with. I've planned events under impossible deadlines with vendors screaming in my ear. I can plan a revenge just as well. By the time I finish my latte, I've got a rough outline. Step 1, get into Pinnacle's system and find something I can use. Step 2, reconnect with Linda Chen subtly so she starts questioning Trey's ability to handle the Vertex conference. Step 3, sabotage the event itself, not enough to hurt the client, but enough to make Trey look like an amateur. I'm thinking swapped catering orders, double-booked venues, maybe a technical glitch during the keynote. I've got 6 weeks to pull this off, and I'm not wasting a second. As I close my laptop and lean back in my chair, the hum of the coffee shop fading into the background. Trey wanted to play dirty. Fine. I'm about to show him how it's done. It's May 3rd, 2023, and I'm holed up in my tiny apartment in Allston, the kind of place where the radiator hisses like it's possessed, and the walls are so thin I can hear my neighbor's Netflix binges. Boston's student-heavy neighborhood isn't glamorous, but it's affordable, and right now, I need every penny. My laptop, open on the wobbly kitchen table, glowing in the dim light of a single bulb. I'm not sleeping much these days, too wired, too angry. Trey's face keeps flashing in my mind, that smug grin he flashed when he passed me in the Pinnacle office the day I was fired. I'm channeling that rage into focus. Tonight, I'm getting into Pinnacle's system. I know it's risky. Hacking's a strong word for what I'm doing, more like exploiting lazy IT practices. When I worked at Pinnacle, we all shared a cloud drive for event files. And Karen, our boss, was notorious for reusing passwords. I'm betting she hasn't changed them since I left. I pull up the login page for Pinnacle's internal portal, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. My old credentials are long deactivated, but I try a variation of Karen's go-to password. Pinnacle 2023. It's a shot in the dark, but after a few tries, adding a 1, swapping a symbol, it works. I'm in. The portal's a mess, just like I remembered. Folders labeled Q2 events, client contracts, and MISC are stuffed with PDFs, spreadsheets, and random Word docs. I head straight for the Vertex Pharmaceuticals folder. That's Trey's baby now, the $200,000 contract he stole from me. I need something incriminating, proof he's cutting corners, or better yet, proof he lied about me to get me fired. The folder's packed. Vendor contracts, catering menus, AV equipment lists. I skim through emails between Trey and Linda Chen, Vertex's VP of Operations. Most of it's standard budget approvals, timeline confirmations, but one email catches my eye. It's from Trey to Karen, dated 2 days before my firing. Jess has been dropping the ball on Vertex, it reads. Missed a call with Linda last week and I had to step in. Clients are frustrated. I can take over to keep things smooth. My blood boils. I never missed a call with Linda. I was on the phone with her for an hour, going over table layouts, while Trey was probably schmoozing in the break room. He straight up lied, and Karen bought it. I download the email and a few others where he CCs Linda, playing the hero. It's not enough to ruin him, but it's a start. I keep digging, my heart pounding as the clock ticks past midnight. I find a draft budget for the Vertex conference. Trey's marked up catering costs by 15% over what I'd negotiated with the Seaport Hotel's vendor. Is he pocketing the difference? Sloppy accounting? I can't tell yet, but I save it to my encrypted drive. If I can prove he's inflating numbers, it's a direct hit to his credibility. By 2 a.m., I'm bleary-eyed but buzzing. I've got a folder of screenshots and PDFs enough to start building a case. My next move is Linda Chen. I met her last year at a networking event in the Seaport, back when I was Pinnacle's golden girl. She's sharp, no nonsense, and she liked my attention to detail. If I can get her to doubt Trey, even a little, it'll plant a seed. I draft an email from my personal Gmail, keeping it vague but professional. Hi, Linda, hope you're well. I've heard the Vertex conference prep is moving along. If you ever need a second pair of eyes, I'm happy to consult freelance. Best, Jessica Harper. It's a soft touch, nothing accusatory, just a nudge to remind her I exist. I hit send and lean back, the radiator hissing in the background. Outside, Alston's quiet except for the occasional drunk college kid stumbling home from a bar on Harvard Avenue. I'm not ready to confront Trey directly. That's endgame. For now, I need to stay invisible, gathering ammo. The conference is 5 weeks away, and I'm already imagining the look on Trey's face when his perfect event falls apart. A double-booked venue here, a miscommunication with the caterer there. I know every vendor in Boston's event scene, florists in Back Bay, AV techs in Somerville, caterers in the South End. They owe me favors, and I'm ready to cash them in. Tomorrow, I'm meeting an old colleague, Sarah, at a diner in Cambridge. She's still at Pinnacle, low-level but nosy, and she hates Trey as much as I do. If anyone's got dirt, it's her. For now, I shut my laptop and crawl into bed, the glow of Boston's skyline peeking through my window. This city's taught me one thing. You don't get ahead by playing nice. Trey's about to learn that the hard way. It's May 5th, 2023, and I'm sitting in a Greasy Spoon diner on Massachusetts Avenue in Cambridge. The kind of place where the coffee tastes like burnt rubber and the vinyl booths stick to your thighs. The air smells like bacon and desperation. Across from me is Sarah Nguyen, my old coworker from Pinnacle Events, picking at a plate of soggy fries. She's a junior coordinator, barely 22, with a sharp tongue and an even sharper memory for office gossip. Sarah's the kind of person who knows where every skeleton is buried, and I'm here to dig. "Jess, you look like you haven't slept in a week," Sarah says, dipping a fry in ketchup. Her bluntness is why I like her. No filter, no bullshit. "Sleep-'s overrated," I reply, stirring my coffee. "What's the word at Pinnacle? How Trey playing king?" Sarah snorts, leaning forward so her dark hair falls over one shoulder. "Oh, he's loving it, strutting around like he owns the place. Karen's eating it up, calling him proactive." Meanwhile, the rest of us are picking up his slack. He's got no clue how to handle Vertex. Keeps emailing vendors the wrong specs. Yesterday, he told the Seaport Hotel we needed 300 chairs instead of 500. I had to fix it before Linda Chen noticed. I smirk, filing that away. Trey's sloppiness is my opening. Any chance you've got access to his emails? Something I could borrow. Sarah raises an eyebrow, but she doesn't flinch. "You're going full scorched earth, huh? I don't have his login, but I can see his calendar. He's meeting Linda at Vertex's office in the Seaport tomorrow, 2 p.m. probably to go over the keynote setup. If you want to run into them, that's your shot." My pulse quickens. A chance encounter with Linda could be perfect, casual, no red flags, just me planting a seed of doubt about Trey's competence. "You're a lifesaver, Sarah. Anything else?" She leans closer, voice low. "He's been cozying up to some sketchy vendor in Dorchester. Some guy named Mike who does AV equipment on the cheap. Word is, Trey's cutting corners to pocket extra budget. I overheard him on the phone last week, promising Mike a bonus if he keeps costs under 10 grand. Smells like a kickback. That's gold. If Trey's skimming budget, it's not just unethical, it's fireable. I need proof, though. Can you get me Mike's contact? Or anything tying Trey to him?" "I'll try," Sarah says, scribbling a note on her phone. "Mike's company is called Soundwave Solutions. Shady website, no reviews. I'll poke around, see what I can. At 2:15 p.m., I spot them through the Starbucks window. Linda's in a navy power suit, her black hair pulled into a tight bun, talking animatedly. Trey's next to her, all smiles in a pressed button-down that screams trying too hard. I push through the glass door, the bell jingling, and head to the counter, positioning myself so I'm in their line of sight. I order a flat white, keeping my back to them, ears tuned to their conversation. Linda's voice carries, something about projector specs for the keynote. Trey's nodding like he's got it all under control, but I know he's winging it. I turn with my coffee just as they're heading for the door. "Linda, Oh my God, hi, I say, feigning surprise. My voice is warm, professional, like we're old friends. Linda blinks, then smiles. Jessica, what a coincidence, she says, stopping. Trey's smile freezes, his eyes narrowing for a split second before he recovers. I can practically hear his brain scrambling. Hey, good to see you, I say, nodding at Trey like he's an afterthought. How's the conference prep going? I heard it's a big one. I keep my tone light, but my eyes lock on Linda, gauging her reaction. It's a beast, Linda admits, adjusting her bag. We're finalizing details now. Trey's been keeping things on track. Her voice is polite, but there's a hint of strain, like she's not entirely sold. Trey jumps in, his voice a little too loud. Yeah, it's all good. Got the best vendors lined up. Should be smooth sailing. He's trying to shut me down, but I'm not done. Oh, vendors can make or break an event, I say, sipping my coffee. I had a nightmare once with an AV guy in Dorchester, cheap equipment, total disaster. You're using someone reliable, right? I tilt my head, all innocent curiosity, but I see Trey's jaw tighten. Linda frowns slightly. We're using, what's the name, Trey? Soundwave something. Soundwave Solutions, Trey says quickly. They're solid, great rates. He's sweating now, just a little under that perfect haircut. Glad to hear it, I say, smiling. You can't be too careful. Anyway, Linda, if you ever need a freelance consult, I'm around. Gotta run, good seeing you. I wave and slip out before Trey can steer the conversation. I feel his eyes boring into my back as I cross the street, blending into the seaport crowd. That went better than I'd hoped. Linda's curious now and Trey's on edge. Perfect. Back at my Alston apartment, I'm buzzing. I check my burner email. Mike from Soundwave Solutions replied to my fake client inquiry. Happy to discuss your event needs. Competitive pricing, top-notch gear. Call me. He includes a number with a 617 area code. I'm not ready to call yet, too traceable, but I dig deeper into Soundwave. A quick search on the Massachusetts Secretary of State's website shows there. Business registration. Michael Russo, owner, with a listed address in a gritty part of Dorchester near Fields Corner. I cross-check it with Google Maps. Yep, a warehouse in an industrial strip, next to a vape shop and a laundromat. Shady as hell. I need more on Mike and Trey's deal. Sarah's intel about a possible kickback is promising, but I need hard evidence. I log back into Pinnacle's portal using Karen's stolen password. There's a new email from Trey to Mike sent yesterday, confirming $9,500 for AV setup. Keep it under budget and we'll split the difference. Cash. My pulse spikes. This is it, proof Trey's skimming. I screenshot the email and save it to my encrypted drive, my hands shaking. If I can get this to Linda without exposing myself, Trey's done. My next move is Carla, the Seaport Hotel's event manager. I text her from a burner app, keeping it vague. Hey Carla, it's Jess Harper. Got a sec to chat about an old favor. She responds within minutes, agreeing to meet tomorrow at a bar in the South End. Carla's no fan of Pinnacle. She's dealt with their chaos for years, so I'm betting she'll help me mess with Trey's setup. Maybe a mix-up with the catering delivery or a glitch in the AV schedule. Nothing catastrophic, just enough to make Trey look incompetent. It's past 10 p.m. now, and I'm pacing my apartment, the radiator clanking like it's cheering me on. Outside, all stands alive with college kids heading to bars on Brighton Avenue. I'm too wired to join them. My plan's coming together. Rattle Trey with Linda, dig up dirt on Mike, and lean on Carla to throw a wrench in the conference. 5 weeks until June 15th, and I'm building a house of cards around Trey. One push, and it all comes down. It's May 8th, 2023, and I'm sitting in a dimly lit bar in the South End, the kind of place with exposed brick walls and overpriced cocktails named after literary references. The inkwell on Tremont Street is buzzing with afterwork types, their laughter mixing with the clink of glasses. I'm nursing a gin and tonic, waiting for Carla Rossi, the Seaport Hotel's event manager. She's my ace in the hole, the one who can turn Trey's Vertex conference into a logistical nightmare without anyone tracing it back to me. My laptop, S tucked in my bag, loaded with the screenshot of Trey's email to Mike about splitting the AV budget, proof he's dirty. But I need to be careful. One wrong move, and I'm the one who looks like the psycho ex-employee. Carla slides into the booth at 7:05 p.m., her curly hair pulled into a messy bun, her blazer slightly wrinkled from a long day. "Jess, you look like you're plotting a heist," she says, flagging down a waiter for a martini. "Close enough," I say, leaning in. "I need a favor, Carla, off the books." She raises an eyebrow, but her grin says she's intrigued. "This about Pinnacle. I heard they screwed you over. Trey's running the Vertex gig now, right?" I nod, keeping my voice low. "He lied to get me fired, took my job, and now he's cutting corners on the conference. I want to make sure it bites him in the ass. Nothing too crazy, just enough to make him look like he can't handle it." Carla sips her martini, eyes glinting. "You know I'm no fan of Pinnacle. They're always late with payments, and Trey's been a pain, demanding last-minute changes like he's God's gift to events. What do you need?" I lay it out, small, plausible screw-ups. Switch the catering delivery time so the food arrives late. Misplace a batch of name badges for the VIPs. Maybe delay the AV setup so the keynote starts with a blank screen. Carla listens, nodding, her fingers tapping the table. "I can work with that," she says. "We've got a new intern who's green as hell. I'll let her handle some of Trey's requests. Easy to blame a mix-up on her. What's in it for me?" "Name your price," I say. "I've got some savings left, plus a favor from a florist in Back Bay who owes me big." Carla thinks for a second, then smirks. "Get me an in with that florist, Maria, for my cousin's wedding next month. Pinnacle's rates are highway robbery." "Done," I say. We shake on it, and I feel a weight lift. Carla's on board, and she's got the access to make Trey's life hell. Back at my Allston apartment, I'm digging into Mike Russo, the shady AV vendor from Dorchester. His reply to my burner email was eager, too eager. I decide to push my luck and call him from a prepaid phone I picked up at a CVS in Brighton. It's a risk, but I need to know how deep he's in with Trey. I dial, my voice steady as I pose as Emily Carter, a fake client planning a corporate retreat. Soundwave Solutions, Mike speaking. He answers, his voice rough, like he's been chain-smoking since the 90s. Hi, Mike, I'm Emily. I'm looking for AV for an event in Boston. Heard you did Pinnacle's Vertex conference. Good rates, right? I keep it breezy, like I'm just shopping around. He chuckles. Yeah, we're working with Pinnacle. Got a sweet deal going. What kind of setup you need? I probe gently, asking about his equipment, turnaround times, and whether he's flexible with budgets. He's cagey but brags about keeping costs low for loyal clients like Trey. We make it work, you know. Everybody wins. I don't push too hard, don't want him suspicious, but it's clear he's open to shady deals. I thank him and hang up, my mind racing. If I can get him to slip up in writing, I've got another nail for Trey's coffin. Next, I check my email. Linda Chen replied to my message from a few days ago. Good to hear from you, Jessica. Conference prep's intense, but we're managing. I'll keep you in mind for freelance work. It's polite, non-committal, but it's an opening. I draft a reply, keeping it light. Glad it's coming together. Let me know if you need a quick audit on vendors. Heard some AV folks in town can be hit or miss. I'm planting seeds, slow and steady. It's past midnight now, and my apartment's quiet except for the hum of the fridge. Outside, Alston's bars are still alive, the faint thump of music drifting through my window. I pull up the Vertex conference schedule again, cross-referencing it with Carla's potential chaos. If the catering's late and the AV's delayed, Trey's already on thin ice. Add in a few lost name badges, and he'll be scrambling to save face in front of 500 execs. But I need more dirt on Mike to seal the deal. Tomorrow, I'm tailing him to that Dorchester warehouse. If he's meeting Trey or handling cash, I want photos. I lean back, the gin from earlier still buzzing in my veins. Boston's skyline glows outside, a reminder of what I'm fighting for. Trey thought he could bury me, but I'm coming for him, one careful step at a time. It's May 10th, 2023, and I'm parked in my beat-up Honda Civic on a gritty street in Dorchester, a block from Soundwave Solutions, warehouse near Fields Corner. The air smells faintly of asphalt and fried food from a nearby takeout joint. It's early afternoon, the sun high over Boston's low-rise rooftops, but I'm sweating in my hoodie and sunglasses, trying to look inconspicuous. My phone's camera is ready, zoomed in on the warehouse's dented metal door. I'm here to catch Mike Russo, the shady AV vendor, and maybe Trey, doing something stupid, like exchanging cash for their kickback deal. If I can get photos, it's game over for Trey. I've been here an hour, sipping a Dunkin' iced coffee that's mostly melted, when a black pickup truck pulls up. Mike Russo climbs out, his wiry frame unmistakable from the grainy headshot on Soundwave's website. He's got a duffel bag slung over one shoulder, moving fast, like he's late. No sign of Trey yet, but my gut says something, going down. I snap a few discreet photos as Mike unlocks the warehouse and disappears inside. 10 minutes later, a silver Audi pulls up, Trey's car, the one he bragged about leasing to keep up appearances. My heart kicks into overdrive. I slide lower in my seat, camera steady. Trey steps out, glancing around like he's in a bad spy movie. He's in his usual khakis and button-down, but there's a nervous edge to him, his hands stuffed in his pockets. He knocks on the warehouse door, and Mike lets him in. I can't hear anything from this distance, but I get a clear shot of Trey entering, time-stamped. It's not proof of a kickback, but it's suspicious as hell. I wait, my fingers tapping the steering wheel. 20 minutes later, Trey emerges, no duffel bag, but he's carrying a small envelope, tucking it into his jacket. Mike follows, locking the door, and they exchange a quick handshake before Trey speeds off. I don't follow, too risky, but I've got enough to work with. Photos of Trey at a shady warehouse with a known vendor, plus that email about splitting the budget. It's circumstantial, but it's building. I need to get to Mike directly, make him talk. I draft another email from my burner account, posing as Emily Carter again. Mike, loved our chat. Can we meet to discuss my event? I'm in Dorchester tomorrow. If he agrees, I'll push him to spill about Trey, maybe record it on my phone. Back at my Allston apartment, I'm wired, uploading the photos to my encrypted drive. My next move is Linda Chen. Her reply to my last email was polite but lukewarm, so That's me, I say, flashing a smile. Thanks for meeting. I'm planning a corporate event, maybe 200 people, and I heard you're the guy for AV on a budget. He grins, showing a gold tooth. Yeah, I keep costs low. Did a big one for Pinnacle Events recently. Vertex Pharmaceuticals, you know 'em. I nod, leaning in like I'm impressed. Heard that's a huge gig. You worked with Trey Sullivan on it, right? He's got a rep for getting deals done. Mike's eyes flicker, cautious but cocky. Trey's a good guy, knows how to make things work. We got a system, keep the client happy, keep the budget tight, everybody wins. He taps the table, a nervous tick. Sounds smart, I say, sipping my coffee to hide my excitement. You ever, shave a little off the top to make it work? I'm cool with creative accounting if it saves me cash. I'm pushing, but I keep my tone light, like I'm in on the game. Mike hesitates, then smirks. Let's just say I'm flexible for the right client. Trey gets it. We're doing another job next week, same deal. Cash talks, you know. He winks, and I feel a rush, this is it. Not a full confession, but close enough to tie him to Trey's shady budget email. I steer the conversation to my fake event, asking about projectors and sound systems to keep him talking. He's cagey about specifics, but brags about undercutting competitors by using refurbished gear. I nod along, letting him think I'm sold. After 20 minutes, I wrap it up, promising to follow up with my boss about a contract. My phone's caught every word, and I'm itching to get back to my apartment and listen. Back in Allston, I upload the audio to my encrypted drive, right next to the photos of Trey at Mike's warehouse and the email about their kickback. It's a solid case now, Trey's meeting a shady vendor, inflating budgets and splitting the difference in cash. I just need to get it to Linda Chen without leaving fingerprints. I'm thinking an anonymous USB drive, mailed to Vertex's office in the seaport with a typed note. Check your vendor contracts. Simple, clean, and devastating. I check in with Sarah via text. She sent me a screenshot of an email chain where Trey botched the catering order, cut the gluten-free options without telling Linda, who had to smooth things over with Vertex's team. Sarah adds, "He's drowning," keeps blaming the intern for his screw-ups. I grin. Trey's already cracking, and Carla's about to make it worse with her intern errors at the Seaport Hotel. Late catering, missing badges, delayed AV. I call Carla to confirm. "Everything set for the 15th?" I ask, pacing my apartment. The radiators clanking again, a steady beat to my nerves. "Locked in," Carla says. "Intern misread the catering schedule, food coming at 2 p.m., not noon. AV crews slotted for 3 p.m. instead of 10 a.m., and I lost 50 VIP badges in the system. Trey's gonna have a stroke when the execs show up." "You're a genius," I say. "Maria's ready to hook you up with flowers for your cousin's wedding, free of charge." "Sweet," Carla laughs. "Just don't get me fired, Jess." I hang up, feeling the pieces click into place. Linda's already questioning Trey after our Starbucks run-in. Sarah's feeding me his mistakes. Carla's setting up the chaos. And Mike's audio is the cherry on top. I spend the evening drafting the anonymous note to Linda, printing it at a FedEx in Cambridge to avoid any trace. I'll mail the USB tomorrow, packed with the email, photos, and a clipped version of Mike's audio, enough to make Vertex dig into Trey's vendor deals. It's 11 p.m., and all stands alive outside my window, the neon glow of bars on Harvard Avenue pulsing like my adrenaline. Boston's my battlefield, and I'm winning. 3.5 weeks until the Vertex conference, and Trey's empire is crumbling. He thought he could steal my life and walk away. Not in this city. Not on my watch. It's May 13th, 2023, and I'm standing in a crowded FedEx office in Cambridge, near Harvard Square, the hum of printers and chatter filling the air. The place smells like toner and stress, with students rushing to print last-minute papers. I'm here to finalize my anonymous package to Linda Chen. A USB drive loaded with Trey's damning email to Mike Russo, photos of their warehouse meetup, and a clipped audio file of Mike hinting at their kickback scheme. The typed note is simple. Vertex vendor issues. Check Soundwave Solutions contract. No signature, no trace. I slide the USB and note into a plain manila envelope, pay cash for a padded mailer, and drop it in the outgoing bin addressed to Vertex's Seaport office. My hands are steady, but my heart's hammering. This is the point of no return. Back at my Alston apartment, I'm restless, the radiator hissing like it's egging me on. The package will hit Vertex's mailroom by Monday, May 15th. If Linda takes it seriously, she'll start digging into Trey's vendor deals, and that email alone could get him fired. But I'm not stopping there. The Vertex conference is a month away, and I need to make sure Trey's failure is public, humiliating. Carla's already set to sabotage the catering and AV setup at the Seaport Hotel, and Sarah's feeding me updates on Trey's mounting screw-ups. I check my burner phone. Sarah's texted a new gem. Trey forgot to confirm the keynote speaker's travel, and now the guy's stuck in Chicago with no flight. Linda's pissed, and Trey's blaming system errors. I smirk. He's unraveling. I need to keep the pressure on. My next move is Maria, the Back Bay florist who owes me for saving her ass during a botched wedding gig last year. I call her from my prepaid phone, catching her at her shop on Newberry Street. Maria, it's Jess Harper. Need a favor for the Vertex conference at the Seaport. You're on their vendor list, right? Jess, yeah, I'm doing their centerpieces, Maria says, her voice warm but cautious. What's up? Heard you got screwed over at Pinnacle. Something like that, I say. Trey's running the show now and he's cutting corners. I need you to accidentally mess up the floral order. Wrong colors, wrong quantity, nothing major, just enough to make him look sloppy. I'll cover any heat you take. Maria hesitates, then laughs. Trey's a prick. He tried to haggle me down last week like I'm some street vendor. I'll swap the white roses for pink carnations. Vertex wanted elegant, and carnations scream cheap. I'll blame a mix-up in the order form. You're the best, I say. I've got Carla's cousin's wedding order ready for you, no charge. A deal, Maria says. Consider it done. I hang up, feeling the plan tighten like a noose. Catering delayed, AV botched, badges missing, and now tacky flowers. Trey's conference is shaping up to be a circus. But I need to stay ahead of him. He's paranoid, according to Sarah, asking around the office about who's talking to me. I can't risk him sniffing out my moves, so I'm keeping my circle tight. Sarah, Carla, Maria, and my burner phone. No social media, no loose ends. I spend the evening double-checking my evidence. The USB's gone, but I've got backups on my encrypted drive. If Vertex doesn't bite, I can leak the files to a rival firm. Boston's event scene is cutthroat, and plenty of Pinnacle's competitors would love a scandal. I also draft a follow-up email to Linda from my personal Gmail, keeping it vague. Hi, Linda, just checking in. Heard there's been some vendor hiccups with the conference. Happy to consult if you need a hand. It's a nudge, planting the idea that Trey's slipping without accusing him outright. By 10 p.m., I'm pacing my apartment, the glow of Alston's dive bars filtering through my window. I pull up the Vertex conference schedule again, stolen from Pinnacle's portal. Trey's cut the budget for lighting, opting for basic setups instead of the dynamic displays I'd planned. It'll look cheap, especially in the Seaport Hotel's sleek ballroom. I make a note to tip off a contact at a local events blog, maybe a subtle post about budget issues at Vertex's big day. Nothing traceable, just enough to stir whispers. Outside, Boston's alive, the distant rumble of the Green Line mixing with laughter from college kids on Brighton Avenue. This city's my ally, its chaos masking my moves. Trey thought he could bury me and waltz into the spotlight, but I'm rewriting his story, one carefully placed domino at a time. 3 weeks until June 15th, and I'm ready to watch them fall. It's May 16th, 2023, and I'm hunched over my laptop in my Allston apartment, the radiator clanking like it's mocking my nerves. The anonymous USB drive I sent to Vertex Pharmaceuticals should have hit their Seaport office mailroom yesterday, packed with Trey's shady email to Mike Russo, photos of their warehouse meetup, and the audio clip of Mike hinting at their kickback deal. I'm betting Linda Chen, Vertex's VP of Operations, will take the bait and start digging into Trey's vendor contracts. But I caw. Just sit and wait. I need to keep the pressure on. Make sure Trey's Vertex conference on June 15th crashes hard enough to ruin him. I check my burner phone for updates. Sarah, my Pinnacle insider, texted an hour ago. Linda called Karen yesterday, sounded pissed, asked about Soundwave's contract. Trey's freaking out, blaming everyone else. I grin, my pulse spiking. The USB worked. Linda's sniffing around and Trey's scrambling. Sarah also sent a new screenshot. Trey emailed the Seaport Hotel's AV team with the wrong specs for the keynote projector, asking for a 4K model when Vertex needs 8K for their data visuals. Another screw-up I can exploit. I call Carla, the Seaport Hotel's event manager, to check on her sabotage plan. She picks up, her voice low. She's probably in her office overlooking Boston Harbor. "Jess, it's set," she says. "Catering S rescheduled to 2 p.m., AV crews pushed to 3 p.m., and I misplaced 50 VIP badges. Trey's been blowing up my inbox, but I'm playing dumb. Interns taking the fall." "You're a legend," I say. "Anything else I should know?" "He's panicking," Carla says. "Showed up yesterday, all sweaty, double-checking the ballroom setup. Asked me to confirm the floral order like he's paranoid it's wrong." That's Maria's doing, her mix-up with the cheap pink carnations instead of Vertex's elegant white roses. I thank Carla and hang up, my mind racing. Trey's feeling the heat, and I'm about to turn it up. I need to amplify his mistakes, make them public. I've got a contact, Jen, who runs a small events blog, Boston Event Buzz, covering the city's corporate scene. She's always hungry for gossip. I email her from my burner account, posing as an industry insider. "Heard Pinnacle's dropping the ball on Vertex's big conference. Vendor issues, budget cuts, and sloppy planning. Might be worth a look." I attach a vague screenshot of Trey's catering email, scrubbed of any trace to me. If Jen bites, a blog post could stir up enough noise to spook Vertex's execs. Next, I focus on Mike Russo. His audio from our diner meetup in Dorchester is gold, but I need more to lock in the kickback angle. I email him again as Emily Carter, pushing for another meeting. "Mike, loved your pitch. Can we meet tomorrow to finalize my event contract? I'm flexible on budget if you can cut me a deal like Pinnacle's." If he bites, I'll press him harder about his system. With Trey, maybe get him to name a number. By 3 p.m., I'm restless, so I head to a coffee shop on Commonwealth Avenue, away from Allston's chaos. The place is packed with BU students cramming for exams, the air thick with espresso and anxiety. I pull up Pinnacle's portal on my laptop using Karen's stolen password. There's a new email from Linda to Trey, CC'd to Karen, concerned about Soundwave Solutions. Their rates seem unusually low. Can you provide their equipment certifications and references? Trey's reply is all charm, promising to double-check and ensure quality. He's stalling, but Linda's not buying it. I save the email, another brick in my case. I spend the evening mapping out the next 2 weeks. Maria's floral screw-up is locked in. Carla's chaos at the Seaport Hotel is ready to roll. Jen's blog post could drop any day, stirring whispers in Boston's event scene. And if Mike gives me more dirt, I'll have enough to send another anonymous tip to Vertex, maybe even Pinnacle's board. I'm careful, though. Trey's paranoid, and Sarah says he's been asking about leaks in the office. I tell her to lie low, stick to vague updates. No sense risking her job. It's 10 p.m. now, and I'm back in my apartment, the glow of Alston's bars seeping through my window. Boston's alive outside, the hum of the Green Line mixing with laughter from Brighton Avenue. I'm 3 weeks from D-Day, and Trey's world is cracking. He stole my job, my reputation, my life, but I'm taking it back, one calculated move at a time. This city's taught me how to fight dirty, and I'm just getting started. It's June 15th, 2023, and I'm standing in the gleaming lobby of the Seaport Hotel, Boston's waterfront jewel, where glass walls reflect the shimmer of the harbor. The Vertex Pharmaceuticals conference is underway, a high-stakes circus of 500 execs, investors, and a Nobel Prize hopeful keynote speaker. I'm here as a consultant, a title vague enough to slip past security, my hair tucked under a tailored blazer, eyes hidden behind sunglasses. The air's thick with cologne, ambition, and the faint salt of Boston Harbor. Today's the day Trey's empire crumbles, and I'm here to savor every crack. My plan's been a machine, each gear turning perfectly. Linda Chen's audit of Trey's Soundwave Solutions contract, sparked by my first anonymous USB sent May 13th, has Vertex's team on edge. The second USB, mailed to CFO Daniel Park on May 20th with Mike Russo's audio bragging about cash on the side, and Trey's kickback email, hit like a grenade. Sarah's texts yesterday confirmed Vertex is ready to ditch Pinnacle, with Linda demanding a full vendor review. Carla's sabotage is locked in, catering delayed to 2 p.m., AV crew pushed to 3 p.m., 50 VIP badges lost in the system. Maria's pink carnations, a garish middle finger to Vertex's elegant brand, are already in place. And Jen's Boston event buzz post, now at 800 Twitter shares, has the industry buzzing with Boston events trending locally, whispering about Pinnacle's catastrophic mismanagement. I slip into the ballroom, keeping to the shadows near a marble pillar. The room's packed, the crowd restless under Trey's cheap lighting setup, dim and flat like a community center dance. The tables are bare, no food in sight, and Maria's carnations sit in tacky clumps, screaming dollar store vibes. Trey's at the front, his khakis creased, his face glistening with sweat as he argues with a panicked AV tech. Linda's in the VIP section, her navy suit crisp, her arms crossed, her eyes like daggers. Daniel parks beside her, scrolling a tablet, my USB files, no doubt. I catch Linda muttering, "This is unacceptable," and my heart does a little flip. At 12:30 p.m., the keynote's supposed to start, but the screen's dark, the projector dead. The AV crew's nowhere, thanks to Carla's intern error. Execs shift in their seats, checking watches. Investors murmur, their frowns deepening. Trey grabs a mic, his voice cracking like a teenager's. "We're, working through some technical,"